Welcome back. It's only days until the Democratic Alliance holds its Federal Elective Congress. It will determine its top 6 leadership positions. And on the agenda, well, will be discussions on the party's ideas on policy ahead of the 2024 national elections. But just how crucial is this Congress for the Blue Shirts? And how will the issue of the exodus of black leaders from the party be addressed in front of the expected 2,000 delegates? Let's get some analysis now and play out some scenarios with political analyst Dr. Ntsikelelo Breakfast from Nelson Mandela University. Well, thank you so much for your time and good afternoon to you. How significant and crucial is this weekend for the Democratic Alliance?
Yeah, so the party has been dealt with a blow with regard to its electoral performance in the previous elections, namely the recent local government elections. They lost a lot of vote. They did not do well the way they should have. And also they were dealt with a blow in 2019. They lost a lot of votes to Freedom Front because of, I think, the language that was employed maybe by Mmusi Maimane of racial categorization, because he spoke about whiteness, and I think that might have offended some people in some quarters, and also coupled with the language of white privilege and so on. So I think they need to clarify the philosophical outlook of the party, whether they are transcending beyond racial classification, or whether they are espousing non-racialism as a philosophical tradition. Because sometimes I get the sense that there is no uniform position on matters of transformation. Whether the party supports racially inspired policies of Triple BE, Employment Equity Act, or whether the party is moving beyond the issue of race because the party stands for liberalism. So I think those are the issues that the party needs to clarify, so that voters can know where the party stands. Because of late we've seen, as you pointed out when you're setting the scene, an exodus of leaders who have been walking out of the party because they're unhappy. I mean, there have been two factions within the party, the Black caucus and the other faction of a non-racialist. But the Black caucus, I think they lost the debate.
And on that note, I mean, I just wonder if the Democratic Alliance can move past the, issues around transformation and race relations within their party. You rightfully mentioned, Mmusi Maimane and him, of course, at the time of his tenure as party leader, did speak about, whiteness within the party, and subsequently seeing the likes of Bongani Baloyi, Herman Mashaba, Phumzile van Dam, leaving the party. Now we hear Phalatse contesting alongside John Steenhuisen and Ntsikelelo saying that the party is ready for a black leader, a black female leader, I suppose, in her context.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think, in my opinion, I've got nothing against Phalatse as a person, but I don't think that at the moment she's ready to take over the party, because when she speaks, she doesn't strike me as a person who understands the philosophical foundation of the party in terms of what the party stands for. But the incumbent, when he speaks, whether you like it or not, you can locate his assertions within the ideological framework of the party. I think he does clarify what the party stands for. The only concern is that the person who is contesting to be his deputy, I'm sorry to say this, but is a white person. And I get the sense that the grand strategy is for Mazori to take over from him when he steps down. And that it begs the question about the future of blacks within the party on matters of leadership. But I, for one, I think the current leader should continue. Even though there are some challenges within the party. I mean, the coalition formations that have been led by DA have been, falling apart under his stewardship.
When we look at some of the recent resignations, Ngwenya comes to mind. I spoke to Gray Kronberg about this earlier on, saying there would not be a negative impact on their now former member and former head of policy, Ngwenya's resignation as she moves to the private, sector. But what do you make of this? I mean, she has played quite a key role in shaping policy at the Democratic Alliance, and those manifestos quite important to conferences and congresses such as this, in as far as also, elections are concerned for party leaders.
Yeah, you know what? I get the sense that most of the black leaders in the upper echelons of the DA normally are not seasoned politicians. They strike me as people maybe who were co-opted in order to be made to conform or in order to be assimilated. And when they try to stand their ground and speak their minds, then there are tensions and they get offended and then jump ship. So I think the party needs to give its members, I think, a space to speak their minds. But I think most of the time, the issue seems to be the issue of race. I think that it needs to be clarified what the party stands for on matters of transformation. For instance, does the party support racially inspired policies? Does the party appreciate our history? Does the party acknowledge that poverty does have a color? And so on.
I want to also touch on chairperson of the Federal Council. Two candidates, they're vying for it, Helen Zille and Lungile Penyane. Do you think Helen will retain this position and remain as federal chair?
Well, I think she does enjoy a substantial support from people who are influential within the party. Remember, she stepped down. I can't remember when it was, and then Musi Maimane took over, but that was a project gone wrong. So she was brought back, I think, to be behind closed doors and to make sure that the party takes the right strategic direction. So my prediction is that she's going to win herself and the incumbent.
All right, in that position there which has been contested by Helen Zille, is the chairperson of the Federal Council. But I appreciate you speaking to me about this. Political analyst Ntsikelelo Breakfast from Nelson Mandela University. Thank you so much for your time.